We have been talking about how crypto is going to explode much higher, and we're going to see altcoins going absolutely crazy for a bit of time now. The number one thing that I have said on this channel over the last couple weeks, even going back to May, was that June into July is going to be a very, very big time for crypto. And I think right now is a very good time to overlook what just happened over the last couple days. Number one, we got the big bill passed, right? The big, beautiful bill. Under that big, beautiful bill, the US national debt is projected to soar to $55 trillion. Not a typo, $55 trillion by 2034. The number one thing to focus on with this is that this is horrible for anyone that is holding on to dollars and saving dollars. This is extremely bullish for assets. This includes stocks, crypto, you name it. So when we think about that, we are going to see stocks and crypto go absolutely crazy for at least a few more months going forward. But long term, holding stocks and crypto is going to be extremely bullish. But the number one thing that I'm focused on here is how bullish the environment around crypto currently is. And I've been very vocal about this. I'm going to go back to a post here in a bit, but I want to go over a few things as well. Number one, we do have a new release. This got released on the 2nd. This is the House Ways and Means Oversight Subcommittee will hold a hearing Wednesday on making America the crypto capital of the world, focusing on building a 21st century tax policy framework for digital assets. Now that is this Wednesday, the same Wednesday, by the way, that we have a banking GOP committee as well. But the interesting thing about this, okay, the interesting thing about taxes for crypto in the US is that if the US really wants to become the crypto capital, have zero taxes. Zero capital gains taxes on crypto would open up the crypto market in the US in a huge way. It would cause crypto in the US as well to this would skyrocket all US based cryptos, especially if they made sure that they named the cryptocurrencies that were tax-free. Just make it US-based crypto projects and that's it. It would immediately cause crypto to skyrocket in the US, and it would definitely set America on a path to becoming the crypto capital of the world. I don't think that that's going to be the case. We'll have to watch, wait, and see what happens here, but that's what I personally would want. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of you in the US would also want that as well, but we'll have to see what happens here. Now, on top of this, we have over here breaking US Treasury Secretary Bessent says Trump will be imposing April 2nd level tariffs on countries who do not reach trade deals with the US beginning August 1st. In other words, President Trump has once again extended the tariff pause from July 9th to August 1st. That means that the markets are going to be even more bullish. I mean, listen, they were already pretty bullish leading into this announcement, but yeah, this is going to continue the market uproar, which we love to see. And last but not least, Bitcoin records the highest weekly close in history. And also, if we go over here to crypto bubbles, we can see the daily and the hourly are pretty green. The weekly and the monthly are still waiting to turn green. On the daily, XLM up 6.2%, HBAR 3.9%, XRP 2.4%. Across the board, we have some nice gains, some double-digit figures, but we still want to see a much larger bounce here to turn the weekly and the monthly green as well. On the yearly, we still have some very strong gains across the board. XRP 407%, HBAR 128%. XLM 179%, XDC 122%. So, still pretty good, especially for, this market still brewing for a much larger move across the board for altcoins, which we'll, talk about. Currently speaking, Bitcoin 109 point roughly 5K after having the largest weekly close in history. Market cap for crypto, 3.37 trillion, 1.22% up on the daily. Ethereum up 2.27%, still outperforming Bitcoin. We love to see that, almost 2,600. XRP up 2.34%, $2.27. And again, on the daily, if we actually look at the top gainers, XLM is, moving up 6.29%, almost 26 cents. We love to see that, and a few other gains across the board as well. Now, let's actually talk a little bit about XRP, XLM, HBAR, and SUI, because again, these are like the four main ones that I'm actually watching. Now, SUI is definitely an interesting one that I threw in the mix simply because this is a VC-backed project, and I'm watching to see how this project reacts, because so far this year, I should say this cycle, technically going all the way back here to like even 2023, SUI has been a very strong mover in the space, obviously because it is VC backed. It definitely has a lot of money behind it as well. Some nice marketing, very similar to like Solana back in 2021. But I'm watching how this one moves, because this will also determine if, some of these altcoins are acting differently. And if we look at the last month on all of these altcoin charts, including XRP, XLM, HBAR, compared to SUI, guess what? No, they're all moving in unison right now. And that's because of Bitcoin dominance. We're not yet in the alt season side of this market just yet, but we are getting closer. Altcoin season index at 27 out of 100. We're starting to see altcoins picking up some strength here. We love to see that. Now, like I said, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about Bitcoin dominance here in a second, but I do want to talk a little bit more about Bitcoin specifically. Right now, in terms of the M2 money supply, because if we go back to that initial announcement from bar chart, yes, the U.S. national debt is projected to soar. This is going to continue to soar. From that bill, we're going to see a massive amount of money unleashed onto these markets. $5 trillion was the debt ceiling raise, historical, raise. That it's one of the largest debt ceiling raises in history. And when we think about that, that means that the M2 supply around the US specifically is going to go absolutely insane. The next release is this month. I don't think that they raised it just yet in terms of the release for the US M2 supply. I'm watching this closely though. I have been tracking this though. And so far, since the new year into just May alone, we're actually up 1.82% on the US money supply. This is a difference of $392 billion. This is fresh liquidity. We recently talked about the Fed also silently injecting liquidity, and this also confirms that thesis. But talking more so about the M2 supply, this was into June. Bitcoin was at about 107K at this time. If we are going to follow this, prepare for steep candles ahead. The next target here, on my opinion, is 120K. This is showing 130K, but if we're going to follow this into September, we should be trading at roughly $170,000 by September, October-ish. If that is the case, the entire market around crypto, including altcoins, is just going to go insane. But this is also why I said that July was going to be a big time for crypto, is because we're following the global money supply. We might be lagging behind it a little bit, but for the most part, so far July has been a huge month, and we're only 6 days in. We're not even a full week in. This is what Bitcoin looks like. We had a very strong weekly candle close above that upper trend line. We now have another weekly candle that's looking very good off of the lows. We retested that trend line. We're now having a nice impulse to move off of it. All we really need to do is clear this wick of 111, almost 112K, and then it's smooth sailing to $120,000 on Bitcoin. And that's going to happen very quick. It will be almost a teleport push to that level, just similar to like this last weekly candle back here. In terms of like the strongest impulsive moves, this was a overall 12.26% push from our current level here to that level. That's a 9.81% move. That's how fast things can change in this space. So I'm definitely watching Bitcoin over this week, especially considering the fact that the S&P 500 closed out on Thursday because we did have a long extended holiday break. It closed out the week at 6,000, almost 300. I told you guys that the next level here is 69.60. We might have a nice little push to the downside, retest that original all-time high level, and flip it into support before we continue higher. But overall, you know, we're sub 11% away from hitting 69.60, which was my next target anyways. That would align with Bitcoin going to $120,000 as well. But stocks are at an all-time high. Bitcoin just had the strongest weekly candle close in history, and I still don't see anyone being extremely bullish across the board. I'm still reading comments that are negative on the channel. I'm still reading comments that are negative on X as well. While the S&P is making all-time highs, Bitcoin just made an all-time high weekly candle close, and Bitcoin dominance now has 3 weekly candles in a row of just bearish candles. I'm telling you guys right now, you are not bullish enough. Now, I do want to go over back to X because I want to talk about this bullish post that I made just last night. I said it on July 5th. I said it's crazy to believe, but the inflow of retail back in November and January is already gone. They will soon FOMO back in, but the inflow will be significantly larger. The next move around this market is going to be absolutely insane. The S&P is continuing to rally, and I believe 6,900 plus is next. Crypto will follow, but this is the time where Ethereum short positions are at the largest levels in history. Here are 10 reasons to be extremely bullish right now. Number 1, stocks continuing to rally even higher in price discovery. Number 2, crypto legislation accelerating. Crypto week is July 14th. Ethereum transactions nearly at their 2021 all-time highs. Ethereum accumulation levels hitting all-time highs. Ethereum and Bitcoin macro chart mirroring its 2021 breakout. Ethereum short squeeze brewing silently. We are heading into phase 2 of alt season. The SEC chair just announced on mainstream media that they are bullish on tokenization and want to fully support the market for tokenized RWAs. Altcoin ETF approval odds continue to push higher, currently between 90 to 95%. And last but not least, retail interest around crypto has plummeted and sentiment has been completely eviscerated since January. This will lead to FOMO and euphoria flooding this market over the coming weeks and months. This market is about to show everyone why it pays, literally, to be patient and remain focused on what's happening outside of just price action. And yes, right now, you should be very bullish. The M2 supply is squeezing even higher at a time where we just saw one of the largest debt ceiling raises in history, which is going to add $5 trillion to the US debt. And no, that's not bullish for the US dollar, but it's bullish for assets, which means Bitcoin, crypto, stocks, they are all bullish, including even altcoins, at a time where the altcoin market is just brewing for a much larger move. If you are bearish right now, you need to reassess the market, reassess how stocks look, reassess the weekly break on Bitcoin. Take a step back, look at the macro, take a step back and just reread what I have given you. Right now, retail is still very bearish on crypto. It's very clear by the overall amount of short positions on Ethereum, the largest short positions in history of Ethereum, at a time where this is what Ethereum looks like on the macro. I just want to take a quick step back and look at the year. We have a major wick to the downside, which is a spring, and now we have 3 weekly bullish candles. Once we clear these levels that we were trading at for weeks on end throughout May, it is going to skyrocket to 3,000 plus. Once we clear 3,000 plus, $4,000 comes next on Ethereum. I do think that a lot of people are overlooking how bullish we should be right now. And I think that a lot of people are going to be getting caught off guard on this next big wave in this space. There's so much money on the sidelines waiting for lower price action or waiting for just a bear market. This is going to be one of the craziest runs in history, considering everything that's been happening around crypto, especially upcoming in this month. This month is not even 7 days in, and so far it has been very bullish. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, Nick, thanks for watching. Peace out.